Hello everybody, so in today's video, as promised last week, we are ploughing. So I think I briefly mentioned in the video where we were putting the grass seed in that we have changed the plough. Here it is. This is our first video with a Kverneland plough. So it isn't new, it's new to us. I've no idea how old it is. It is a LB85, if that means anything. 85 160. That means anything to you. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's hydraulic vary width. I know it's got a furrow width between 12 and 20 inches. It's 5 furrow, and that's about all I know really. I know it works. So I said in the grass seed video, I actually ploughed that grass field, or the field where we planted the grass seed with it, and didn't film it because firstly, it was the first day out, didn't know how to use it. I wanted to get it set up working a bit sensibly before we messed about with the camera, and it was only 2 little bits of field, and actually didn't take long to plough. So that is why there was no filming of the first day. I have now had another good run at this half of the field, and I've just done that bit now to finish off the long runs. So I thought, well, better introduce the thing first before we actually get to using it. So here we are, this is what it is. So we bought this in auction in February. It is fairly bright. It was a little bit rusty when we got it, but what we've done now, 17, 18 acres played with it. It's got a good shine on it, but today it is very, very sticky, and it is sticking to the moldboards, and I have to keep scraping it, which is not ideal. It is not doing as good a job as it could in ideal conditions. So all the metalwork, all the wearing parts, or the points, the shins, the skimmers, they look as new. It does have some new parts put on it before we bought it, but some of the moldboards are wearing thin. Okay, so that one's thin. This one up here is as new, and then this one here is like a knife. Okay, so that one is very, very close to wore out, but the amount for the amount we plough, I would think those points, they'll do us 10 years no bother for what we use it for. The reversible points, we very rarely change plough metal because we don't do a great deal, so the fact the moldboards are nearly wore out doesn't worry us at all. They will last for years and years for what we do. So today we are using it on the 7614, and when we got it home we had it in the yard and put it onto the 5712 just to move it out of the yard, and the 5712 is very, very light on the front. I picked it up first off with no weight at all on the front, and there was no steering. So we decided that tractor was too light to use on it, so we were always intending to use it on this one. But when the time came to start ploughing, where we did that grass reseed, this tractor was still zero grazing. Okay, so the cows were in, and this tractor was busy cutting the grass and ferrying it back to the yard for the cows. So rather than hitch the mower and the wagon off every day to go ploughing, we thought, you know, time's getting on, we've got to get something done, so we'll try it on the 5712, the smaller tractor, and see how it goes. And it was a little bit light on the front, even with the weights, but it did it. It pulled it. And it did it well enough. You wouldn't want to plough hundreds of acres a year with it, but it got us out of, it got the ground ploughed while this tractor was busy. Because it's a 5 furrow, it's quite a heavy plough, hangs a long way back. The issue wasn't the smaller tractor with lifting it or pulling it, it was physically keeping the front end on the ground. But one thing I did measure while we were doing that other field, this tractor doesn't do it. This is a little bit older. It doesn't have a area meter in it, but the 5712 does. And I could set the width of the plough into the computer in the tractor and measure. Our spot work rate was 1.1 hectares an hour, and we were using 12 litres of diesel per hectare. But this, better have a look at what we're doing. So this has been ploughed a week and got rained on, and I'm just back to it today. You can hopefully see the change in colour where it's a bit damper, but this is what it's doing. It is doing a marvellous job. So this is grass, and there is a little bit tough. It was tufty grass up there. You might just see the green little bits. That's where the muck heap was, and the grass was quite long there, and it didn't get sprayed. But here, where the grass was sprayed off and died, it's done a very nice job of ploughing. So the plough's done a nice job. Everything is buried, it's all turned over. It's not quite so nice over here. So this is what I've just ploughed this morning. It's not quite so nice. It is wetter. It hasn't gone quite as nice. It hasn't ploughed quite as nicely as it did last week. So we are pleased with our new plough. It does a good job. It's much faster. It's being a wider furrow width, and that one extra furrow does make a big difference to our daily output. So right, let's get on and use it, I guess. See what it looks like. So we're actually approaching the end of the field now. I'm very nearly finished ploughing for this spring. And so we started the field that side late last week in good conditions. It was going really nicely. And then it rained and it rained. It rained a bit more, to the point we had to bring the cows back in for 2 days. So we stopped ploughing because the tractor had to go back on zero grazing. So we were cutting the grass and taking it back into the cows. That's how wet it got. But they were back out for the first time today. You can see it's a lovely sunny day. So we've come back to finish off the ploughing, and it is so much wetter now than it was last week. It's not doing half such a tidy job as it was. But the ground will dry out much faster ploughed than it will as it is. So once it's dried off, we can power harrow it, get the fodder beet in. It's still not late for fodder beet, but we do want to try and get some silage done first. So hopefully that's the plan. How much silage we'll get done, we don't yet know, but we're going to have a go anyway. So fortunately, last week in the better conditions I did do some drone footage, so we do have that. So the drone footage is not of today, it is of that side. So like we said at the start of the video, this new plough, it does do a much better job than the old Dowdeswell ever did. Hopefully you can see there is no grass sticking up at all, so this is dunged and sprayed off grass. Now, if we were doing this with a Dowdeswell, there'd be bits of tufty turfy stuff poking up all over the place. This buries everything. There isn't a thing showing. If it was so, because it is wet, it is sticking very badly today. It's scraped the moldboards at the end of every run kind of job. Even when it's as sticky as it is, it's still turning the soil. It's not matching up perfectly in the front furrow, but it's still burying everything. It's very pleasing. Right, so there we go, we have made it to the far side. I just got to do the headland now. So I will say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. So don't forget to come back Vintage Thursday when we try the 1200 with the Dowdeswell semi-mounted plough that you saw in last week's Vintage Thursday. So subscribe and come back for that, and I will say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.